He said, I can get, that man go crazy over that thing. He said it within charges, I believe $85, and put all new parts and stuff in it. And it's a, but now the thing of it is, I think, it's a 30-day clock, and it's only round parts. But he said that's a lot better clock than I thought.
Golly.
You're cruising for a cruise. Ladies and gentlemen, the hour has arrived. I call this meeting to order. Mr. Johnson, I'm going to ask you to give the invocation, please.
Yes, sir. Father, again, I thank you for this day. I thank you for the opportunity for being here. As I ask you to look down upon us, give us knowledge and wisdom to make the right decisions for our community. Bless those that seek, shed in, our soldiers on the battlefield, city, state, government. In your name I do pray. Amen.
Amen. Let's stand and pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do I entertain any suggestions for deletions or additions to the agenda? Hearing none, I entertain a motion that we approve the agenda as printed.
I'll move.
Motion made by Mr. Ramey to approve the agenda as printed.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion about the agenda? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Did y'all speak down there?
Aye.
Oh, we did. He did, I did.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I was reading.
All right, we've got our work cut out. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. All right, the Housing Authority has sent notification. I think, do they have that on, they've got it on our, yeah. The Housing Authority has sent a request that Mr. Jack Floyd be reappointed to the Housing Authority. I entertain a motion that we approve this.
I'll make the motion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we've got a motion made, and you want to second it, Ms. Leggett? Since John made it, you want to second it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Motion made and seconded to reappoint Mr. Jack Floyd to the Housing Authority. This will be for a 5-year term ending 2025. Any further discussion about the appointment of Mr. Floyd? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. We'll see that he's reappointed. Okay, the next item has had some discussion around City Hall now for a week or two. And during this coronavirus situation, we've deferred any cutoffs for any of our citizens. I know there's been some happy folks around town. Mr. Freddie, as nice a man as he is, Mr. Freddie Harmon, riding around his little truck, if it didn't pay the bill, Mr. Freddie go and cut them all. Mr. Freddie hadn't been cutting any off now for 2 or 3 months now. And we've checked and done a little research with other utilities, and some utilities are asking that at a certain period of time, and they publish it on their webpage, that at a certain period of time, that when they come in to pay their month's utility bill, that they pay the utility bill and a percentage of the old bills. You can give them time to get it caught back up. Some of our people, and I've mentioned this several times, we all of our community is not as blessed as some of us are, and it's very difficult for them to make these bills, and we have a long list of cutoffs every month, and it's very bothersome to me. I've been bothered with it ever since I've been here, the years that I've been here, and it still worries me, and I try occasionally to help some as I can. But at any rate, we've got to create a policy, and we've got to feed everybody out of the same spoon, and it's contingent upon us, the city council, to decide what we're going to do. And try to make this thing simple. Of course, it's open for y'all's discussion now. Y'all make this decision, not me. We make it jointly. But I'm going to suggest, after doing a little research, I'm going to try to help you a little bit. and looking at it, I feel like that we should allow our people to come in and pay their bill and ask them to take 10% on their old bill. If they've got an old bill of $500, to come in and pay their current bill, and then 10% of the $500 would be $50. Now, that's gonna put a tremendous burden on some people that can't hardly pay the bill to start with, but we've got to have some kind of set of rules. With that, I'm gonna shut up and let y'all make your decision. So get busy with it. What are we gonna do about these delinquent bills?
I would say I would have them show some sort of documentation that they were affected by COVID, by some sort of layoff or some type of, where they was not paid, or show too that they had some subsidized income, unemployment, or whatever, just to show that they have been affected by COVID-19 and that, they have lost income of some type.
Well, one reason I have recommended to you that you use 10%. 10% is fairly easy for all of us to look at a $35 water bill, it's delinquent, and 10% would be $3. I mean, you can figure 10% real easy, and you got to remember that there's a lot of people coming in that office and the door and driving through the drive-through, and it's something that can't be pre-calculated, and there's got to be a degree of hand manipulation to do.
So you're proposing to pay their bill, their current bill,
And
plus 10%
10%
of their delinquent
Yes,
bill.
that's correct.
So if they had 3 months, if they were 3 months behind, they would pay probably $10.
Not much more.
So they'd be $90 delinquent.
Yeah,
In addition to what
yeah,
they're
in
Regular pay
addition to
nine.
the bill.
Yeah, that's right.
That's fair.
Georgia Power, I think, is, if I
25.
read it, 20 or 25, I didn't remember.
Yeah.
I would make a suggestion just for thought, not a motion, suggestion, for thought, instead of 10, be 15. You'd get the rebate of the, bill in 4 years instead of 10 years. Can that extra 5% be that much harder? I don't know.
That's for y'all to decide, not me. I made my recommendation.
That's the reason I made that as a suggestion, that it would alleviate the problem in 4 years instead of 10.
Somebody was making some inquiries the other day, and they asked me if, the late charges would be added as well to the bill.
There's no late
No,
charges.
no late charges.
Nothing but their bill is accumulated if they've let it ride because of a hardship. And, Mr. Ludworth, on your suggestion
Okay.
of getting in and analyzing each person's situation, we can't hardly, we're understaffed up here now. That would be an impossible deal to put on us to try to, we're just gonna have to accept the fact that they've taken advantage, that they couldn't be cut off, and they're here, and there's a balance due. And when they come, we say, okay, now the grace period is over now. You're to come in whatever the time we say and pay your bill. And when you come in and pay this bill, we expect you to do whatever on the balance. And that's what this decision is about.
Have we got very many?
Yes.
Yes.
We got,
Yes.
the delinquent bills are around $50,000.
Could I
Yeah.
Sure.
interject or ask something?
Mm.
And I mean, this might be an option for y'all too, and I mean, the 10% or whatever y'all decide, great, whatever it is. Why couldn't you take and put that 10% on that monthly bill? And just have that as their full bill, instead of saying, okay, now we gotta go back and figure this, and this is what you owe. Why couldn't we do that, just add whatever their delinquent balance is to their current bill and have them pay that? I mean, it makes it easier for them to figure it, and know what they're gonna have at that point.
Well, we need Lori sitting here to see, I'm sure that could be handled with, go ahead, Katie.
It could be just added like a bill sheet.
Yeah, it could be added as a piece of that percentage or whatever we make a decision, or
So-
just like adding in as a penalty, just the same procedure.
So when she gets to reading the meters, and go down to these delinquent account and figure 10% and put it on there and send the bill out, so that when they come in with the money, they know what they gotta pay when they come in with it. That's a very good suggestion, Eric, that's good.
We need some statement on the bill, though, to explain what we're doing. It needs not be a surprise.
So that gets to be a problem too now. we really need Lori here for this discussion. I don't know why we failed to get her here, but I guess it's my fault, I didn't tell her.
I know that we have limited space that's on there, but people need to be notified of what we're doing and why. Even if we had to send out another postcard for information, they need to be notified.
Well, I think if, Katie says it's fairly easy to put it on the bill, she's had a little experience with that. When they come in, all we gotta do is tell them that that's 10% of, or whatever y'all decide, 10% of your old bill is on there, and that's what the council decided, and they don't have anything, they can't argue with them, this is what the council has put, the way they've decided that we're to handle it, and that might eliminate the problem. But anyway, the decision is yours, you decide what you're gonna do with it. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be a heck of a headache to collect it.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be easy. All right, let's move, let's don't sit here and waste our time.
As city clerk, I'm going to ask a couple of questions, Mayor. I think you and I discussed some of this. Okay, are y'all, first and foremost, is there going to be a time frame? Now, I know in us researching this, I believe Georgia Power was like giving them 6 months, and if they got behind on the arrangement, they cut them off and they had to pay everything in full. Okay, now that's one of the things that you and I kind of threw back at each other.
I think that's a very good idea, but I'd sure make sure they knew they was gonna be cut off when
They
they
need
didn't
to
miss
know.
that arrangement. But a time frame would be a very good suggestion.
Well, another thing I want to caution you folks about, but I appreciate each one of you, I think you know that, I think I've told all of you how much I appreciate the cooperation that we have in getting things done. Now, let me tell you something for the four of you, out here. Y'all come in here to this meeting and you're still somewhere else all during the day, and there's, some of us then have to face the music around here. Day by day, we're coming in here, and this is gonna be hard for a lot of people to handle. And so you can sit down here and be as ruthless as you wanna be, that you're gonna do so and so, but you can sit here and look at them people, some of them coming in crying because of they don't have, their children can't take a bath. Well, that is a pretty tough situation you're putting us in now.
Well, then you got to understand, use common sense to help somebody out.
Well, I think
A lot of
we
these-
gotta do that.
Absolutely.
Well,
A lot
another
of these
thing
are
too,
repetition too.
we've all lived here long enough, we know who will and who won't.
I made a statement a while ago about,
That's a case-by-case
to move to
situation.
15%, whereas, I just looked at it as a $90 bill, that would be $9 that you would be putting. If you went to 15, that would be $13.50, is what you would be putting into it. Can they afford that $3.50 more and be able to be finished with their bill in 4 years instead of 10 years?
Wait a minute, now, it's not going to go near that much, even at 10%.
10%.
10% per month, and in 10 months, the bill's paid.
Yeah, 10 months, that's what I just said, 10 payments, or 15% would put it at 4. I said years, I should have
That's
said
your own
months.
decision.
I should have said months, I said years.
Okay.
I'm telling you, that's one thing for sure, you got to have lights and water.
Do you wanna vote
I
on
mean,
this tonight? Is
seriously.
that what you want?
Absolutely, yes, we need to.
You've got to
Okay, I'll
have
make a
one,
motion
you've got
then
to
that
have.
we put 10%, make them pay 10% and give them a 6 month,
And like you said, if you go ahead and add it to the bill,
Well,
they will.
wait, if we do it at 6 months, though, they will not be through at 10%.
Because each time it carries
Yeah.
the balance.
Well, just let them know that
It-
there's
it'll
that
take
10%
It'll
added.
take 10 months to cover it at 10%.
Well,
But,
they
you
more
know,
than that. If you pay 10% this month of
And they may
$500.
pay 20% next, you just don't know.
Well, next month, 10% of your remaining $450 would be $45, and so it's a.
but Georgia Power, you looking at a difference of $300 and something a month compared to
Yeah.
$35.
Figure
So,
35, 40.
I ain't had none
Big
$35 yet.
I don't, our basic bill's $50 with water and.
What's that?
the garbage.
We're talking about the 3 months, basically, that we've down, some of them hadn't paid that whole 3 months.
That's right.
And if you do the 10%, and they know because you hadn't paid in 90 days, you got to keep paying this until you pay it off.
Mhm.
if they keep paying on that bill, we're not losing nothing by collecting it. If they don't pay it, you're going right back now to the cutoff. And if the thing that's gonna bring the cutoff is that new bill. And if they don't pay that bill, they can get cut off. It's gonna be easier, be honest with you. You remember council that I tried to get us to just don't charge them? So now we are charging them, so give them time to pay it. As long as they go ahead and bring that extra $10, it may take you 2 years to get your money, but you're gonna get it. But now, if they don't pay their water bill, they're gonna cut it off. Don't put no time frame, say, but each month, this is what is put on your bill because you 90 days behind
The
until
arrear
that is
charge,
paid.
yeah.
That's gonna be a whole lot easier, and you eventually get your money back.
Well, you got a lot of them right now that are already delinquent for 15, 18 payments a month already.
Mhm.
Mr. Bloodworth, you were trying to make a motion?
Yes, sir.
You want to try to get it out again?
I was just gonna make a motion that, we, add the 10% to be paid on the delinquent bill and give them 6 months to,
Well, whatever amount of time it
Have
takes.
it, or-
I wouldn't put a time on it. If you're gonna add 10% on the bill.
December 31st?
Well,
too
no,
long.
just add 10% on the bill till it's paid,
that'll be my motion.
okay?
Until it's
We got a motion on the floor
Mm-hmm.
that we, and
Until
by the
it's
way, we get our water bills and the bill is due on the 20th, so we're not talking about July. We'll be talking about August.
Mhm.
When the August bill goes out, that the bill go out and, Mr. Bloodworth has made a motion that we, add a 10%, charge to reduce the, delinquent amount. And, okay, that's what he's made. Is there a second to that motion?
I
So-
second.
Ms. Leggett's made it, has seconded the motion. Any further discussion? Well, I'm gonna have this to say, I know it's gonna be tough. You're gonna have some folks up here crying, moaning and groaning. Some of it's justified, and like you say, some of it may not be. But, I've sat here and watched it for a long time, and I'm gonna help everybody that I can, as much as I can. And I just
I
ask you
told
to
him that day I'd pay it.
to let me and Bernice, and those of us that have to handle it, to occasionally use a little discretion in trying to help people where we can.
Right.
Because, I don't want anybody, kids coming home, of course, they're not coming home from school now, but a kid can't go in and take a bath and flush a commode, and the commode's sitting there and not flushed, and, so some of our people live in some mighty bad situations. And I think about that, and I do everything I can to try to make it as good as possible. That's my little sermon about it. Any further discussion about it? Hearing none, I'm gonna ask for a vote. All in favor, show by lifted hands. 1, 2. All right, it's unanimous. All, the motion carried. We'll notify, Ms. Lori, down, starting with the, August bill. When it goes out, all delinquent accounts will have 10% added to it, and we'll go from there. I think it'll make a good move. We'll try it that way. Anything else on there? Yes, sir.
We need to put it on Facebook and also put it in the ledger, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Okay. The number 3 item is talking about tasers for the police department. Mr. Bloodworth, I believe you have this on the agenda.
We don't have the bids yet, so it's, just void it.
Okay. The, next 3 items we will handle, Thursday night. Where's your elbow at? Okay. As you, I think all are aware, the editor of our newspaper doesn't always agree with our actions down here. And I can understand that, I can see where in that we might need correction occasionally, and that's, part of a newspaper's job, so I have no problem with that. But to suggest that the Georgia State Patrol, the Hazlehurst Police Department, or the Sheriff's Department, is gonna be out writing tickets like, I know back in years ago, we had, places, one place just north of Jessup, one place down south of Douglas, that was a ticket writing, particularly if you had a out-of-county tag, there was some less than, honorable means of handling law enforcement. But I honestly believe that we're much better than that. And to think that we would get out and be a speed mill, is sort of, I didn't like it, didn't like it then, don't like it now, won't like it tomorrow. But when we went to the county and asked the county to help us to bring the facility that's, well on the way, if you haven't been out there, of course, it's tough with prison labor and all, but that state patrol post is coming on real good. And, Charles, Harold, and I have worked diligently, we work every day with that. And that's gonna bring, it's gonna increase our law enforcement here without costing the county or the city a dime by about 33%, about a third. You'll have those officers working out of here, and just them being here is gonna be a tremendous, asset to law enforcement and people to be here to help us. The other thing, you've got that many employees employed out there, and state employees, and I hope that even before I leave here, I'm gonna try to get some more state payroll jobs out there. We keep hoping for a big deal, like years ago came in with the slip factory and the Hazlehurst Mills to build carpet factory and all. Those days are pretty well gone, and the way we're gonna build industry is step by step. Add 25 or 30 to state patrol posts, and 5, 10, or 15 somewhere else, and keep building. But we've got that move made. Now, I mentioned the county, we asked them to help us with this, and they were not willing. But, I've talked to, back then, of course, there's been some change of personnel. But, it's a known fact that, with the post in the proximity of a county, the leaving and going and coming in the county, and I've preached this to Chief Williams down there, that I don't want anybody getting a ticket that doesn't deserve one, but people who are belligerently abusing and flying up and down this street and all over town, and the belligerent violators of the law, and need to be paying, it costs us $1 million to operate a police department, and the belligerent violators need to be paying the bill. Now, with this, I've talked to several, including the attorney, and our corporate limits of our little town is sitting right where it was over 50 years ago.
5 miles. It's 5 miles. From one city limit sign to the other.
Yeah, well, it's, I tried back in early 1970s, which would be about 50 years ago, I tried to move it, they were gonna hang me when I was in the legislature. And it's still sitting at, Manor, when you go to out here, the little Manor restaurant is not in the city limits of Hazlehurst. When you leave and go out toward Graham, the city limits of Hazlehurst didn't even get to some of those churches out there, the little church or two on the left. I mean, it's just pathetic where our corporate limits are. Some years ago, I tried to, I had people around in the surrounding areas that wanted to come into the city to get garbage collection and various things, and that was enough civic-minded that they wanted to be a part of the city, and I'd love to annex. Well, so I took the various main streets that were out, and I said, okay, if y'all, we want to annex anybody that doesn't want to come into the city, but let's try to annex these streets, and if somebody's on that street, then they can petition to come into the city. And I had several friends of mine that if their street had been annexed, they would have asked to come into the city at that time. Well, that was holy hell again. They didn't annex a single person into the city of Hazlehurst, but they didn't want the streets annexed. Well, in this case, we're talking about the main highways, 341, 221, 135, the main highways. And, we've got a means of taking just the highways and getting out, but at each of these places, we need something. Now, we've gone and run water and sewer, 2 or 3 miles out the road, in all directions. And, we've just been I think the little town has been very good to try to serve the people around here. And even now, we're running a tremendous volume of water and pressure out to an industry that's been, so I don't have any problem with what we've done, but we should have exceeded our corporate limits many, many years ago, several times. And people don't realize how it's hurting us. When they allocate funds and all to come from a little town, if we had these populated areas all around into our town, our check, they want all sorts of facilities and things in the community, and yet they don't realize when they're sitting out there and they're not counting. You ask them where they're from, all out in these outlying areas. Oh, I'm from Hazlehurst. Like hell, they're from Hazlehurst. They're from Jeff Davis County. They're not from Hazlehurst. They're not in corporate limits. Anyway, enough of this preaching. But one way that we can try to take cases that come in, legitimate cases of violators in these routes, that we can help in amortizing this expenditure we've got to get this thing here. We can go out in these directions with these state and federal highways without getting into trouble and any type of argument. So that's what we're attempting to do. And we won't go into a great deal of detail. There's still a good bit of work that's got to be done. But at any rate, that's what we're attempting to do. And I wanted to bring this little information to you and to know that we're trying to serve and to do what the rightful thing. Anybody got any comments about that little sermon? I'd like to hear from somebody.
It was a good sermon.
It was a good sermon.
Amen.
Pass the plate. All right. Mr. Attorney, you've got in front of you a contract on the cell tower that's already been signed and negotiated. And let me tell you something, so, Rhonda, what did I say if we got that cell tower, what did I say I was gonna do with the money?
Down Christmas decorations, and I'm going to do it.
All right, we, for one time when we got started with this thing, they were gonna wait till, I forget when they were gonna start paying us, but guess what? On the 30th of June, about 2 weeks ago, deposited in the account that we told them to put it in, we got our first check for $1,000. So we're in for 50 or 60 years from now, I hope, of $1,000 a month coming into for that little place down there. So it's been a heck of a good move for us already. So we've already got our money coming in, and I'm already got with Ms. Bernice and Kim. She's one of our master decorators and folks downtown, and we're beginning to look and do
A lot like Christmas.
we're beginning to get a little shopping on our mind as to what we're going to do. And of course, it's only coming at $1,000 a month. But now here's what I'm going to ask. Y'all don't tell the council, but I'm going to ask the council if the committee gets to working properly with the assurance that we've got this contract, this money coming in. I want us to this Christmas make some changes in what we look like at Christmas time around here. But that's something we'll have to handle at a different time, and I've already got it worked out how we can do it, and Ms. Bernice and I are already working on it, but with the assurance that we don't have to go to the taxpayers, we don't have to up the water bill, we don't have to write any more police tickets or they generate revenue. That one piece of revenue, we didn't have to, normally to get $1,000 a month revenue, you'd have to spend, for instance, the hospital over yonder that we've just bought, the old Dr. Johnson Hospital, creates for us $1,300 a month. And that's about a $300,000 investment. You'd have to spend that kind of money to get that kind of $1,000 a month, and it'd take you years and years and years to recover. We didn't have to spend one dime, not one single penny, in every month. Click, click, click. It's going to make a difference and how our downtown and what we can do and the benefits. So I'm real proud of that. Mr. Attorney, I asked you to look at that thing, what we signed, you take over. Is that what we signed and everything okay?
Yeah, the only, I would say it's a catch, they have an initial testing period that they don't pay $1,000 a month. But my understanding, we've met with them, they're gonna proceed with all due haste. They pay $1,000 for the initial testing period, and they have 3 years to do the testing period, but I can't imagine it's gonna take that long to do that. So,
Well, at any rate, the contract you think is in good form.
yeah.
We've already signed it, y'all have already authorized that, we've already got that done, but there's, all right, so much for that. All right, now, okay, you know, we advertised, piece of land that we didn't need, down on Gill Street, and we got, a bid for, said that the minimum bid was, $10,000. We got one bid for $10,200, we got one bid for $10,500, we got one bid for $11,000, and we got another bid for $11,400. I entertain a motion that we sell, that piece of property to the top bidder for $11,400.
I made a motion.
Motion made that we accept the high bidder of 11.4 and seconded by Ms. Leggett. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, that cleans out my desk. What else? There's something else?
One question, Mr. Mayor.
The water adjustments that we went into that.
What?
We don't do that.
The inmates, you said at the last meeting about reminding y'all going on with it, due to the fact that they are not able to come now, are they, how can I say it, are they prorating that?
We're not paying a dime.
None yet?
Not paying a dime.
Okay.
We're not paying.
We're not paying a dime.
Okay, I thought we had paid it
No,
up.
but I'll tell you what, we short some labor. The cemeteries, the ditches, the drains,
Well,
the downtown, we're missing that labor force coming in and.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really hurting us. And let me tell you something, I've pleaded and talked and all, and there's no sign of knowing when it's gonna change.
But I think that Public Works is really doing a good job, in my opinion, with the cemeteries for the weekend. I say, hey,
Well,
but
the
I don't
gen- the
think we
gentleman
wanna
said-
do it every weekend, but I think, y'all keep going.
The gentleman sitting out there on your side over there is doing that, and he's doing a good job with it, and
Yeah,
working
they
hard.
working
We
with
appreciate
it.
it. Okay, what? Citizens, Rhonda Hush.
Now I wanted to talk to you.
Well, you know you can.
Now, I will mention one thing today, because y'all was just talking about having something to pop in my mind. Then that, we had that real heavy rain, all of a sudden, out there at the corner of Farmer's Market, the back corner, at the Farmer's Market, it actually had almost covered the road. Was it Farmer Street, across the top there? It almost covered the road right there, we got some drainage problems. Back there at the bag, it wasn't as bad, but it's, come on up in there a little bit. I'm asking you to do this, and you got nothing to do.
You reckon we'll ever see that day?
No.
I don't think we
No.
will. We're a busy bunch, I'm telling you. And let me say this, we are, we got a lot going on. Good gracious, and thank goodness, I don't know whether y'all looked at the overpass from the Alma Highway and from the back of the highway, but it's asphalt all the way across one layer of it, it's very close. That's been a long time coming, but that's gonna be an asset to this town. I'm sure glad to see that. What else?
Do have prison detail back out at the state patrol station.
Yeah, but that wasn't easy either. I won't, huh?
Say, keep your fingers crossed.
Let me tell you what, if we hadn't, well, we won't get into all that, just hush about that. But it took some kind of doing to get some of that done. Okay, anything else, ladies and gentlemen?
Do we have a noise ordinance?
Do we have a noise ordinance, Mr. Attorney?
You do?
Huh? We do, yeah.
Well, how come, can we get it enforced right there on the corner of Bell Street and Jefferson?
That's right there at your house. You make
I
too much-
see
are
my-
you make-
I
are you
see-
make- Are you making too much noise, Miss Lee?
I am. I see my pictures. Sometimes they'll jar. Well, I came in one day and they were every one on the floor. I am so sick of them
Across the
mufflers.
street from you there?
Oh, it's right there on my corner. I'd like to just rope it off and not even let them come through there.
You can't do that. Hey.
So you're talking about vehicles, is that what you're saying?
It's music, it's horns, it's, of course, I don't mind the horns, I mean, they're not gonna stay on them too long, but it's music, it's horns, it's, loud mufflers. I think some of them trucks got 3 or 4 mufflers on them. They're so loud.
Ken, Chief,
I got it right.
straighten that out.
There's some more revenue.
Chief Director.
All right, anything else, ladies and gentlemen? Mr. Johnson?
I'll motion we go home quick.
Second.
Motion made, motion we adjourn.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Bloodworth.
They've already done it
All
for
in
you.
favor, say aye.
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 Good night, ladies and gentlemen.